Wait, what the is a JAWN anyway?
Moving on from all of that. Training camp today. Hot as balls. First open training camp coming after a preseason which they beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It was the good. It was the bad. It was the ugly. There was probably more bad and ugly than good. But reaching back to Thursday, Gale, just some observations about training camp as you get the first glimpse of this Doug Peterson Philadelphia Eagles.
I mean, well, you know, the big story is Carson Wentz going down. Obviously, we're a little bit butthurt as a Eagles nation because he's the rookie. Everybody came there to see it. It was really Carson Wentz Bowl. That's what it was on Thursday. He did show a lot to me. Personally, I thought, he showed a lot of poise. I mean, really, he really stepped up to the plate. The receivers, did they give him that much help? I don't know, but overall, I was excited just to see the team play. A lot of people are upset about certain different things, about Doug P keeping him in there too long. I mean, it's football at the end of the day, so.
And the preseason is almost always formatted like this. Your starters are going to play a series, if at all, right? Then your second strings are going to come in and they're going to play basically up until halftime. Your third string quarterback is going to get from halftime to the end of the game.
Right.
And then the second preseason game, your starters are going to get a quarter. Your second string quarterback is going to get the second and third quarter. At least this is the way it used to be on Andy. This is what I'm kind of used to seeing from this sort of Andy Reid, sort of thing. And then your third string quarterback gets the last quarter. The third preseason game is the big one. That's when the starters get a half, and then the fourth preseason game is just usually the EROCK Jersey Shame-a-thon, which we will talk about a little bit later on. But Bish, do you think that Doug Peterson left Carson Wentz exposed in any way or left him in the game too long?
Not at all. Not at all. It's preseason. I think being a rookie in the NFL, you have to get your reps in. You have to get your reps in as a quarterback, and it was a hairline fracture. I didn't think he was gonna, hurt it any more than what it already was. But I don't think he left them in there too much at all. He's the third quarterback on the depth chart, so he's going to play his designated time no matter what.
Right.
So I don't think he was left in there too long, and I think people are really overreacting when it comes to that.
Because he wasn't starting anyway,
Exactly.
So it's not like he's missing any. Is he missing some preseason time? Absolutely, but it's not like he's being held back in the first grade. All right, this is preseason time that he's missing, and honestly, if he's as good as he's supposed to be, being the second overall pick, our third stringers beating your third stringers shouldn't be that big of a deal if you miss it, especially if he's going to stay, on the bench and not even dress for the majority of this season.
Exactly, and a lot of people are saying that they think Carson is going to come in. In my opinion, I don't think that's going to happen. Right. I think, Sam's obviously the starter, and even if he goes down, you invested a lot of money into Chase Daniels. And obviously Doug Peterson believes in Chase Daniels, so I think it's going to take a lot to bring in Carson Wentz this season.
Yeah, it's going to take either A, a lot of injuries, or B, the team just absolutely blows.
I mean, with the way that offensive line played,
holy shit,
offensively. I mean, that's really the biggest thing. I mean, the way the offensive line played, you really got to start questioning things, especially with Lane Johnson going out.
Yes.
So, where do we go from here?
And that is certainly an interesting question. We just got back, Mike, from training camp, hot as balls.
Yeah, it was bad.
2-hour training camp. I expected to come in here now after being in the heat all day. I gotta admit, it's a little bit of a struggle to be high energy. Mike, I think you'll agree with me when we say that what we saw on the field during the opening practice wasn't necessarily doing the trick for us. Wouldn't you agree?
I actually agree that, yeah. I mean, it was hot as balls, like you've been saying like 3 times. It was ridiculous. But it seemed like the players were getting really worn out after a little bit after practice. I mean, I think the practice was dragging out a little bit too. And I saw your tweet earlier during the practice that you thought this was the most boring practice that you ever dealt with after watching the Eagles. I'm like, wow, that's really a bold prediction on your part. But I actually agree. At the same time, after all the practice we've been through, or at least I've been through, that was really boring, to be honest. I mean, the teams just look tired. They look worn out. I mean, the offensive line, we were looking at the offensive line a little bit during the open practice, and they just did not look good at all. I don't know if it was just because they were exhausted or they're just that bad. I don't know, man. That was really interesting to see what the offense was dealing with at the open practice today, for sure.
Well, going back to the preseason game, I mean, we started to see a little bit of it, you know, the little bit of the problems, the offensive line. Oh, my God, the offensive line. We began to see the problems that they were having in the game, all right? You didn't see it with Bradford because he was only in for 3 plays, 2 handoffs, you know, and a touchdown, bing. He's out of the game. Probably good, you know, considering what we saw from Chase Daniels. And maybe Chase, who in training camp, you will agree, has looked okay,
Right.
would have done a little bit better and not looked like absolute garbage. Mark Sanchez-esque on a Sanchez bad day. Had the offensive line been protected, and then you saw a jolt, almost kind of like a jolt of enthusiasm, a little pendulum swinging when the kid got in there, but he walks away hurt. The offensive line, I put a video out on Twitter. My God, this offensive line is bad. Within 20 one-on-one drills that we were doing.
Oh, you mean today?
Yeah.
Oh,
the offensive line versus defensive line. Individual ones. So you take a defensive end out wide on the wide 9 and you put him against tackle. You take the defensive tackle, put him against guard, do it again for the center.
Guys were getting smoke on the offensive side of the ball.
Holy shit. Out of about
terrible.
20 battles. 20 battles. All right. Did I mention it was hot as balls out there?
You probably said it 5 times now, yeah.
Okay, all right. I just want to make sure. I'm not making excuses for the offensive line, but out of about 20 individual competitions between the offensive and defensive line, the offensive line won 2 of them, one of which was by Lane Johnson, which clearly doesn't count because he's on the juice.
Amino acids, to be correct.
And then we still don't know what sample B is, correct?
Dirty sample B, that's what it is.
Whatever sample B is. Ugh.
And it is bad. And then there was group drills, and I put that, and just the comment. I didn't realize what I was saying over the video. Like I didn't realize what I was like when it's in the stadium, you never hear yourself, but out loud, I'm talking about, holy shit, like your quarterback just got killed. The offensive line is bad. Do we even want to see Carson Wentz behind that offensive line right now?
I mean, I do.
You
still do?
Really?
Not early, but later in the season, I wouldn't mind him in there.
I don't want that to happen. I mean, we've seen
End of the season?
You know what? I actually think that week 16 or week 17 would be okay. Just to get his feet wet a little bit, you know. Get him a little anxious for next year if he's the starter, unless Sam Bradford is still here for some reason.
I mean, let's be honest. Even with Lane Johnson coming back, you know, after the 10-game suspension, this offensive line is still bad. So, you know, putting that rookie behind there.
Now, when you say offensive line is bad, you guys think like like a couple spots? I mean, what do you guys think about Jason Peters?
He's injury prone.
He's definitely on the back end of his career, so he's going to be a lot more prone to injuries. You know, as we've seen the past couple of years. I hope he can stay healthy. I just don't know if that.
But now, if we have a healthy Jason Peters, healthy Jason Kelsey, Brandon Brooks,
who's having trouble staying healthy,
right? But if he stays healthy,
right,
do you think we still have a bad line?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's one preseason game.
We're losing our right tackle that we just paid a fortune for.
So your right tackle gets suspended for 10 games. It's going to happen. There's no
and by the way, he's not even going to get most of that money for his extension now, apparently, too.
Well, it's up to the team. Now, the team can decide like what to do with it.
It's like 23 mil?
I thought it was 31.
I thought it was like a 10 mil signing bonus. Was I completely wrong on that?
I think it was the signing bonus but I think
you get like 25 mil back.
I saw a tweet from Field Yates that said 31.5 mil guaranteed would be gone if the team decides to not agree to that extension.
Holy shit!
That's what I heard.
That's it's a lot of coin, but let's say it does cost you 10 mil. I mean that's bad for Jason Peters.